Hi, I'm back. Okay, so today we're going to go over similes and metaphors and personifications. Some of you are probably looking at me like I'm a crazy person, like, oh my gosh, Miss Puckett, we've been learning this since we were like 3 years old. I know, but the whole intention of all these activities were done because they are on your final exam for this class, the SLO, that the district developed, which I don't think that we're going to even have to give. But these are still good language arts concepts, so you can't go wrong, okay? All right, so first off, on this paper, you've got a definition here. It says figurative language. And the reason why I put that on there is because a lot of times you'll see that word figurative language, or people will say literally or figuratively, because, you know, you can literally be so hungry, it's making me mad, hangry. But figuratively, you might be saying, oh my gosh, I am so hungry, I could eat the whole planet, okay? So that's figurative. You're not actually being serious. You're over-exaggerating, which we'll talk about later. All right, so a simile, very similar to a metaphor. A simile is when you take two things and compare them, but you're using the words like or as. So you could say that you're as happy as a lamb, for example. That's like a classic one. Or maybe you are as angry as a dragon. Spitting fire. The example here on the paper, it says his feet are as big as boats. It's like boots, that doesn't make sense. Sorry. And then I've written a simile in here, and it says the homework floated through the air like a soaring bird. You know, if I were to go, whee! Not a very graceful bird. Okay. So the metaphor is kind of like the same thing. The only difference would be that you're not using like or as. So I can't say that I'm as pretty as a picture because that's using like or as, or I feel like a dinosaur dead and extinct. Okay, no, we can't do that because that uses like, okay? So it has to be a metaphor. So for example, the one on here, it says her hair is silk. Okay, that means it's some silky soft hair. I agree with that. The one that I wrote here, it says toilet paper is now the national currency. Okay, that's a little joke on the corona stuff. You could say he is West Union strong. Okay, we're comparing strength to West Union. What does that mean? Well, you know, maybe it means that he's country. Maybe it means that West Union always wins no matter what. Okay. And then the last one here is personification. It says it's taking something that's not alive, like this pen, for example, or the table, and giving it human feelings. Or, human descriptions. So I could say, this pen, it only likes to work sometimes. It's very immature. Okay? But that's personification. Couple examples here. It says the house stared at me with looming eyes. So here the house has eyes and it has staring. The hills have eyes, for example. The one I put here, the phone would not stop screaming at me. Okay, leave me alone. You guys know I hate the phone. Oh my goodness. Okay, so on our page 2 here, it says below are sentences that contain similes and metaphors. Underline the 2 words in the sentence that's being compared. Now I've done the first half for you, but we'll go over them and I'll leave you to do the last half. So these ones right here is what I'm looking at. All right, it says the cat's fur was a blanket of warmth. Okay, we're comparing the fur and the blanket. Okay, number 2, the lamp was a beacon of sunshine. We're looking at lamp and beacon of sunshine. Okay, ooh, looks like I skipped number 3. We'll do that together. It says the fireworks were a lantern in the sky. So we're going to underline fireworks and lantern. Okay, John slept like a log. We're comparing John with a log. Mary was sweet as pie. We're comparing Mary and pie. I'll leave these ones to your own devices. Okay, and then down here, we're taking that same set and we're writing whether it's a simile or a metaphor. So number 1, the cat's fur was a blanket of warmth. Not using like or as, so it's a metaphor. Number 2, the lamp was a beacon of sunshine. No like or as, metaphor. The fireworks were a lantern in the sky. No like or as, metaphor on number 3. Now number 4, John slept like. He slept like a log. If we use like or as, it's a simile. And Mary was as sweet as pie. We're using as. She was as sweet as pie, which makes it a simile. I'll leave these ones to your own devices. Okay. For this one's a little bit different. You kind of have to be a little bit more creative on this one. It says below are several sentences. If a metaphor is present, go ahead and change it over to a simile. If a simile is present, go ahead and change it over to a metaphor. All right, so Mike is a wizard in the kitchen. Okay, well, that is already a metaphor because there is no like or as. So Mike is a wizard in the kitchen. That's already a metaphor. So we're going to change it over. Very simply, Mike is like a magical wizard in the kitchen. Okay, just put that like in there. It makes it all good. Now number 2, Barbara is as hungry as a horse. That means since we have as in there, it's already a simile. Now we need to change it over to a metaphor. So we're going to take out like or as to make it a metaphor. I just put Barbara is a happy and hungry horse. Barbara is a happy and hungry horse. Okay? And then I'll leave the other 4 to you. And then it says right here, we got some textual evidence. This is from a novel. Usually you see this as a freshman if you have me. Copper Sun by Sharon Draper. And what I want you to do here is read the selection and then copy the textual evidence where the simile is and then explain the simile. So let's look at this. The strangers whom Bessa had spoken of arrived an hour later. Everyone in the village came out of their houses to see an astonishing sight. Pale, unhealthy-looking men who carried large bundles and unusual-looking sticks as they marched into the center of the village. In spite of the welcoming greetings and looks of excitement on the faces of the villagers, the strangers did not smile. They smelled of danger, Amari thought as one of them looked at her. He had eyes the color of the sky. So what do we think here? Okay. He had eyes the color of the sky. This is a metaphor. Sorry. I put simile on the paper. That's wrong. If you just give me, I was trying to develop this all in one day on a Friday when we were told about this. So it's actually metaphor here. And the metaphor here is he had eyes the color of the sky. And basically what's happening is that they say that his eyes are blue like the color of the sky. All right, personification. Moving right along here. So the first part is what you do is you underline all the personification in that paragraph. Okay, so the first sentence says, our house is an old friend of ours. Well, a house is a building, obviously. If we're giving it a human emotion or a human relationship or a human characteristic, that makes it personification. So we're going to underline friend. Although he creaks and groans with every gust of wind, he never fails to protect us from the elements. So on that one here, can a person groan? Yes, they can groan. So we're going to underline groan And then because he's protecting us, that's an action. We're going to underline that as well. He wraps his arms of bricks and mortar around us and keeps us safe. He's always been a good friend to us, and we would never leave him. Now, you don't necessarily have to underline friend again because we already did it once, but we definitely want to underline wraps his arms around us because he's wrapping his arms around us. And then on the bottom here, it says underline all the words and phrase. Oh, no, sorry, we already did that. Finish the sentences below with examples of personification. Remember to choose a word that would normally be a characteristic of an action or a human. All right, so number 1's been done for you. The snow whispered as it fell to the ground. The baseball bat as Casey hit the ball. What about screeched? It can scream, it can wail, it can cry. The printer blank out the copies I printed. I put farted because I'm a child, okay? The printer spit out the copies that I printed. The cup swallowed an entire jar of tea. What about the floor? What's the floor going to do as the elephant walked across it? I'm going to say that the floor cried as the elephant walked across it because it was scared. It was scared that it was going to break. I'm going to leave the last ones to you. On the next page, what you're doing here is you're reading the sentence and you're choosing, or you're writing, whatever, as to whether it's a simile, a metaphor, or personification. So number 1, he is like a rocket on a bike, on his bike. Sorry. We are using the word like, therefore it is a simile. And we're comparing two different things because we're comparing him and a rocket. Okay, number 2, the fire roared to life. Okay, well, it's a fire. It's a non-living thing, but if it's roaring, it's like it's making a human sound. So it is personification. That word's kind of hard to fit on that little line. All right, number 3, the leaves fell like rain. That one's hard because see, we're comparing leaves falling and rain falling, so they're two different things. Fell is also personification. So what would you say? Guess what? It's both. Okay. So we're going to put a simile there because we're comparing leaves and rain, two different things, but we're going to say that they fell a lot alike. So we're going to put simile here, but we're also going to put personification, okay? Because humans fall. You can absolutely put two different ones. Okay? Number 4, the glasses. Siri. The glasses danced on the shelf during the earthquake. I think we know that one. Definitely personification because the glasses are dancing. And then number 5, it's already been done for you, but we're still going to go over it. The clock is the keeper of time. So we're looking at that. We're comparing clock and keeper of time. Clock and keeper of time. But there is no like or as. So it's a metaphor. I'll leave the other ones to your devices. Okay. The next paragraph here is from a story that you read when you're a junior with me, The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman, a personal favorite of mine. And I'm asking you about the personification in the story. So let's read the little selection here. One of those sprawling, flamboyant patterns committed every artistic sin. It's dull enough to confuse the eye in the following, pronounced enough to constantly irritate and provoke study, and when you follow the lame, uncertain curves for a little distance, they suddenly commit suicide, plunge off at outrageous angles, and destroy themselves in unheard of contradictions. The color is repellent, almost revolting. smoldering yet unclean yellow, strangely faded by the slow turning sunlight. It is dull yet lurid orange in some places, a sickly sulphur tint in others. No wonder children hated it. I should hate it myself if I had to live in this room for very long. There comes John, and I must put this away. He hates to have me give a word. So personification, if you did not pick up on it, it says right here that there are patterns in the yellow wallpaper that commit suicide. Okay. Let's see. So I'm going to copy that textual evidence down. So I'm going to start with when you follow the curves for a little distance, they suddenly commit suicide. And I just write that right there. Okay. I meant to write those in reversal, sorry. And it says, what is being personified and how is it personified? So basically we're saying that the yellow wallpaper commits a human action, which is suicide. So the yellow wallpaper, it commits a human action, which is suicide. Okay. We've got one more reading selection here, A Rose for Emily by William Faulkner, another one that my juniors read. And it says, when Miss Emily Grierson died, our whole town went to her funeral. The men threw a sort of respectful affection for a fallen monument, the women mostly out of curiosity to see inside of her house, which no one, save an old manservant, combined gardener and cook, had seen in at least 10 years. So the metaphor here, it's kind of hard to find. But what we're doing here is we're comparing Miss Emily Grierson to a fallen monument. So when we copy down the textual evidence, we're going to say the men through a respectful affection for a fallen monument. Okay. So, sorry, it's hard to see. Okay, that is the textual evidence that we've copied down, and then it says explain the metaphor. So Emily is important to the town like a monument. So, sorry. Emily is important to the town like a monument. Again, feel free to pause this video at any time if I'm going too fast. That's the good thing about recording. Okay, and then the last portion of this activity, it says write a sentence, okay, that shows personification for each item. So I've already done one for you, and I'm not going to do 2 or 3 because you can do those on your own, but I just want to go over how I did it. So they said, write a personification for lightning. Okay, lightning. I put here, the lightning screamed as it popped out of a cloud and struck the house next to mine. By the way, my house has been struck by lightning, and it definitely caught on fire before. So the lightning screamed. All right, the car can fart, the car can roar, the car can put, the car can run, stomp, jump, play. And the stars, oh, so many for the stars. I mean, they can love, they can shine, they can be happy. There's so much with stars. As of right now, you know, the President Trump has just declared that the social distancing guidelines have been extended through April. I don't know what that means for our school yet. I still don't know what that means for graduation or prom or anything in the spring. As of right now, Adams County Ohio Valley schools are closed indefinitely, as you probably already know. I have not heard anything past that. I have not even been instructed to give you work for the rest of the school year yet. If I do, I will let you guys know. I actually already have it like typed out and everything. It's just a matter of being given the order, the directive to send it. So I will keep you updated as I get updates. Please continue to check your email. Reach out to me if you need me. I'll be here. I'll help you as much as I can. Don't feel like you're bothering me or anything like that. I mean, I am here to serve you. That's what I am. I'm a public servant. I'm a teacher. And you can email me. I don't care if you email me at 4 a.m. I mean, I might not respond at 4 a.m. But, you know, just give me 24 hours to respond. I've been getting over an ear infection. I was all swollen from allergies and all that. But just reach out to me if you need me or whatever. Send me memes if you want. That's fine. For submitting work, there's a couple different things you can do. If you want to take pictures and send it like that, you're more than welcome. If you want to type it out on a doc, you can. You do not have to type the questions. You can just type out similes, metaphors, personification, number 1, number 2, number 3. You don't have to type out the questions because I have them in front of me. I know what they are. If you want to, if you read my email, which you should be reading my emails, if you read my email, then you would know that I've also showed you a way to scan your paper through your iPhone, and I sent you the link for your Android phones. I don't have Android, so I'm a little less versed in those, but it actually sends the document to me with less bandwidth, so it's not as much, it doesn't take as long to send to me. So type it out on a Google Doc, take pictures, send it to me. However you feel comfortable, I'll accept either way, just as long as you're getting me the work, and I will put the grade in and we'll be fantastical. I also sent you an email about due dates and stuff like that too. Wash your hands, maintain social distancing. I've got some things to do in June, you know, hello. And hopefully maybe we'll come back for May so we can have a graduation and we can see each other and say a proper goodbye and all that stuff, okay? Stay safe. Bye.